Well, good afternoon, everybody. It is fantastic to have you join us today. For those of you that aren't familiar with me, I'm Chuck Wemple. I'm the Executive Director at the Houston-Galveston Area Council of Governments, serving the 13 counties surrounding around Harris County, over 120 cities in our region. Appreciate the opportunity to do what we can to help in these early stages of recovery after Hurricane Beryl. The Houston-Galveston Area Council has been involved in disaster recovery going back to Tropical Storm Allison. My personal involvement and professional involvement has been going back to Hurricane Rita and Hurricane Ike and other storms since then as well too. One thing that we have found from our history and working on natural disasters are a couple of things. We find out that some of our communities end up being more impacted than others. We always have folks who need an extra hand, and we also have folks who are willing to help lend that extra hand because they may have been spared some of the damage that has come their way. We have that situation now with Hurricane Beryl, especially on the western edge of our region, to the northwest specifically, a little less damage and impact there than in Matagorda County and Brazoria County, parts of Harris County, of course, Montgomery County very much in the news. Needing that help is such an important calling for some of us who didn't have as much impact. So that's the main reason we're here today, is to help bring all of you together to see who needs that immediate help and how can others be helpful to them, and also to share our experiences as we move forward in disaster recovery and to make you aware of some of the resources that we are becoming aware of and gathering here at the Houston-Galveston Area Council. So we very much look forward to having good conversation today. We're going to hear an update. Rick Guerrero on our team is going to help provide an update from some of our team members on some resources, funding we're finding out that's available coming to our region for local governments, for individuals, also technical assistance on items like debris removal and debris management, so important with this storm of Beryl in particular and the wind damage that was done to many of the trees in our communities. And then we're also going to open it up to hear questions from you so we can better understand what your individual needs are and what the others on this call can also hear what those needs are, where they might be able to give some extra help out into our region. We have a lot of things to cover today, so I won't spend a whole lot more time. I do want to give one quick shout out. I noticed that my friend Michael Ferdinand is on the call down in Matagorda County, and of course Matagorda County is where Beryl came on land. Mike, hope you are doing okay down there, and I hope that you in particular and others on the call find this gathering to be worthwhile. We plan to continue this on a weekly basis for at least 3 or 4 more weeks. It'll be a hybrid option, mostly virtual going forward, to where we can get together and learn more. Our experience is that some funding and resources become available right after the storm, and then others come available a little further downstream. So right now we're hearing about FEMA individual assistance, FEMA debris assistance. There may be more of that coming down the road as other damage assessments come into play. The Economic Development Administration, through Department of Commerce, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, tend to be very quick in getting disaster recovery once it's allocated at the federal level. Hasn't happened yet, but likely to happen soon. So we want to make sure you're aware of what's available now, what could be coming in the future. Small Business Administration, not only for businesses, but for individuals as well. We'll hear more about that in just a moment. So I want to thank all of you for signing on and attending today. Look forward to hearing what your needs are. Before we get to that part, though, I'm going to turn over to Rick Guerrero so he can go ahead and give you the perspective from our team here at H-GAC. Rick?
Thank you, Chuck. I appreciate it, and welcome everyone to H-GAC's Post-Beryl Member Forum. If you were invited or you were on the call, you are a member of the Houston-Galveston Area Council, one of our 132 member governments, or a valued partner, or had severe impact as a result of Hurricane Beryl. So we appreciate all of you taking the time to be here. We're going to jump right in We've assembled a team of professionals who are experts in their field. They've been at this for a long time. They represent our area's Agency on Aging, which covers 12 out of our 13 counties. They represent one of the largest cooperatives in the country, H-GAC BUY, which is part of our enterprise programs, helping local governments all across the U.S. with competitive buying power. And we also have our Director of Community and Environmental Planning, which leads our disaster recovery efforts throughout the region. So we have a few elected officials. I'd like to recognize Councilmember Tommy Jin from City of Deer Park, who is joining us here in person. I imagine we do have a few electeds who are also joining us online. So I apologize if we don't recognize everyone, but we want to get to the meat of this. First, I'm going to kick it off to our Director of Communications, Miguel Segura, who is going to go over some of the resources and the page that we've developed just for this very type of disaster, so that you all know and are up to date. Following a disaster, we may get bombarded with emails and resources, either from our local governments, our county governments, our state governments, and we've, as H-GAC is meant to be a convener for the region and for these resources, we've tried to make it a one-stop shop for you and make sure that we are providing you with the most up-to-date information. Miguel and his team are charged with making sure that this information is up to date. However, this information is only as good as the information that we're getting. So if you have up-to-date information as well, or any resources that we may have missed, please send those to us so we can make sure that everyone in the region is able to access it. So, Miguel, I'm going to turn it over to you to kind of walk them through that website and the resources that are available to them.
Thank you, Rick, and good afternoon, everybody. Again, Miguel Segura, your Director of Communications here at H-GAC. And as you can all see on the screen here, we do have an agenda. I'm going to give just a quick update on the resources webpage that we created, and then we'll kick it over to our programs. You can see the different programs that are here in attendance today to be able to brief you on some of the updates that we've heard, and then open it up for the group to be able to provide us some information. But if we could go to the next slide, Vanessa, please. This is just a screenshot. Our web page that we have created is h-gac.com/funding. This was actually created in response to the spring storm derecho. And we got together as a leadership team and realized that we needed to provide some resources in a more centralized location for our members, for the residents of your communities as well. So if you can see it here, we did break those down by local, state, and federal resources. We plan to keep it that way as of now. We have added some resources that have become online since Hurricane Beryl. We're going to continue to update this page. We also ask you that if you have your own local jurisdictions providing some additional resources, to please go on here, let us know, communicate. Another initiative that we are working on, and we're working fast to bring it online, but we're working to get a comprehensive database of more resident serving services, everything from clothing to nutrition assistance to debris removal, anything that there's nonprofit organizations in your community, volunteers, your local jurisdictions are already having boots on the ground to be able to assist your residents. We want to make sure to capture that. We have a team available that's going to be contacting these organizations, making sure that we have all the details from hours of operation, how long they're going to be open, a good point of contact, a potential website. And what we're doing is going to build an interactive map using GIS to be able to have this available for residents so they could quickly go on, zoom in and out of the region where their home is, and be able to find the nearest resources that are available to them and a detailed description of everything that they have available. So it is a big undertaking, but we're just almost about to go live, making sure that your residents have the access to those resources as quickly as they possibly can. And this is something, again, that's going to be a living, breathing document. So please, we're going to send out some communication after this meeting, some contact information where you, any organizations in your community can go ahead and submit resources to that. So we please encourage that you assist us in building that database as we want to make it as robust as possible. But with that, again, we also did send out a newsletter. I'm hoping every one of you all has received that. We sent that out yesterday in anticipation of this meeting. We had a quick video just kind of promoting and highlighting the details of what's going to happen today. We're looking to continue these meetings on a very regular basis for the foreseeable future to ensure that we're getting a pulse on the needs of your communities and your jurisdictions. But we're going to also continue to send out newsletters as these pieces of communication come to us. So anything you need from us, please reach out to us. We want to do everything we possibly can to assist with you. But if there's no questions for me on the website as it stands right now, I'll go ahead and I'll turn it over to Mr. Ronnie Barnes, who's with our Public Services. He'll give you a brief rundown of what we have available through his department.
Thanks, Miguel. Good afternoon, everyone. Again, I'm Ronnie Barnes with H-GAC with the Public Services Department. I'm responsible for managing the enterprise operations here at H-GAC. My contact information is there on the screen, and I'm ready to share with you what our department has available to assist in recovery. Next slide, please. Our cooperative purchasing program, which is titled H-GAC Buy, is a purchasing solution that is available to local governments across the country. Specifically, we have contracts that have been competitively solicited in order to provide the ability for governments to purchase without having to satisfy the competitive bid process themselves. We've done all of that work that you would have had to do in order to procure equipment and services. We make those contracts available to our members. Most of the entities in our region are already members, so tool is available to you to be able to buy and get equipment and services you might need in your recovery. Next slide. The next few slides, there's 3 of them here, that list the contracts that we highlight during this time of the year, especially for our region, as equipment and services that you might need to have in your inventory in order to respond to disaster recovery. Portable construction equipment, earth removal equipment, which includes backhoes and evacuators and material handling equipment, auxiliary backup generators, buildings modular buildings that can be used for temporary housing and office activities. We also have a contract for consulting and recovery services. Mainly where this comes into play is that they offer debris removal consulting in order to help you manage the debris operations in your jurisdictions. Next slide. We have refuge handling equipment, which includes roll-off containers, waste incinerators. We have rental services as well. If you need light towers, if you need vehicles, if you need forklifts, those things are available as well. Sweeping equipment, street maintenance equipment. So there's a whole host of items that we've listed, radio communication equipment, should you need that are available. Our staff is available to help you navigate our website in order to contact the particular vendors who might be able to supply the equipment that you're trying to purchase, and we can help you through that entire process to make sure that you get what you need from vendors. Many of them are local, as quickly as possible. Next slide. And that's just the balance of the list. You can see we've got current model cars and trucks, which has pickup trucks and staff vehicles, police vehicles, and any other type of equipment, trailers as well, that you might need in your cleanup activities. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, what the cooperative here has to offer. There's many more contracts that are available, but in terms of this effort to recover from Hurricane Beryl, these are the things that we've highlighted and are available to you right away. Next slide. One of the other areas our department is responsible for is we have a local development corporation that does small business loans through the Small Business Administration, and there has been a disaster declaration made by the SBA, as noted here on the screen. They're offering 3 types of loans. One is a business physical disaster loan. The other is an economic injury disaster loan, and the third is a home physical disaster loan. Unlike some of the other federal programs, SBA is only makes funds available through loans and not grants. They have designated 3 sites in our region for local businesses and homeowners to go to get assistance. There's one in Harris County, there's one in Montgomery County, and they recently, this week, have opened up one in Galveston County. The loans are up to $2 million. They can be used for repairs to facilities, to replace inventory, to harden buildings for future events, for homeowners to make those repairs, and even to renters, those loans are available. The loans have varying interest rates, which are pretty attractive for a homeowner. The interest rate starts about 2.6%. For a small business, it starts at about 4%, goes up to 8%, depending on some of the variables in the qualifications that are there. It's a 30-year term loan, and again, the amount is up to $2 million. Now, on tomorrow, Friday, July 19th, from 12 to 1 p.m., the SBA is holding a information session that's online. The link is there on the website, and they can answer any of the particular questions that you might have about this loan program. We've also reached out to the Economic Development Administration to find out whether they were going to be able to provide any assistance. Currently, the conversation we had with our counterparts in Austin is their budget has been cut, and they don't anticipate there being any funds available for this episode in our hurricane season. However, that could change with some federal allocations coming through. But as it stands right now, the EDA does not anticipate providing any relief or assistance in our relief and recovery efforts. And so that's kind of what I wanted to present to you that we have to offer in our department. I guess Rick will take questions later.
Thank you, Ronnie. Quick question for you. For those that may not have ever participated in the H-GAC buy, what does it take? Who's eligible? And can you talk about a timeline if they identify a product, from the moment they identify a product, what that process is, and how long it might take for them to potentially get that?
Sure. So any local government or nonprofit providing one or more government services is eligible to be a member. You become a member through simply executing an interlocal agreement. That interlocal agreement form is on our website. You can go to the website, you can fill it out, get the signatures on it, get it back to us. We can turn that around, and your membership can be established immediately within a day or 2 at the most. Also, all of the vendors that are participating are on the website. So you can navigate the website itself. It has a search feature. You go in and you want to get a police vehicle. You type in police vehicles. It'll bring up a result that will show you what police vehicles are available, who the vendor is, what the contact information is. And if you're not familiar with the website and you need assistance, if you just call our office or call myself, and we'll get you in touch with the staff that can help walk you through. Now, how quickly you can get the information, get the equipment that you might want, depends on whether there's inventory, 1, 2, and whether they were impacted by the Beryl as well. Generally, we reach out to our vendor partners ahead of hurricane season, letting them know that we're a prime target sitting here on the Gulf Coast where we are, and so they may want to go ahead and beef up the inventory or stage inventory in such a way if we're affected, they can get to it and get it here. Most of them participate in that effort quite readily, and so it just depends on what you're asking for, what you're trying to get, how quickly we can get it in.
Excellent, Ronnie. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. We will hold questions until after the presentations. Next up is Justin Bauer, who's the Director of our Community Environmental Planning Department, which oversees our public safety, which includes criminal justice grants, regional homeland security grants, as well as our debris removal, water quality programs, bacteria implementation programs. So he covers quite a bit, but he's going to go over some relevant information that may be of use to many of you on the call.
Well, thank you, Rick. As Rick said, my name is Justin Bauer. Thank you for giving a very good summary of our program so far. In addition to some of the things I'm going to talk about in a moment, the Community Environmental Planning Department serves a variety of roles in helping our communities prepare for disaster recovery and helping them to increase their resilience as communities in general. Some of those more longer-term projects include our Regional Flood Management Committee and coordination around that, helping our communities with hazard mitigation plans, identifying where we may have issues in events like Beryl, and helping them make sure that we're prepared to pre-position things and be ready to deal with those, as well as developing funding for regional priority projects and just providing general assistance to our communities in putting them in touch with resources. One of the things I wanted to highlight, if you can go to the next slide, is our debris management program. I'm very excited to have some of our team members with us today who are experts, and I may defer to questions on. As part of our debris management focus, we provide a pretty broad range of services, as well as having fantastic staff here to help our local communities navigate what can sometimes be the very complex world of debris management and reimbursements and things like that, and putting people in touch with the right people and resources. We also have a lot of resources that we develop here at H-GAC. The general focus is to help our communities navigate how to prepare for debris generating events and also how to recover from them. So we provide technical support. We have a series of workshops and seminars. But most specifically for sort of the immediacy of this event and the recovery process, we have a lot of resources online that are easily used and amended and changed to the purpose of any of our communities. That includes everything from pre-developed intergovernmental agreements. You need to put together a quick agreement to get debris services or work with another organization. We have templates you can use. We have guidance for those who may be new to the area, may be new to the disaster debris management process. And as well, one of the big needs we know from our communities in this sort of event is reaching out to the community itself. Having that positive outreach. We don't always have time to develop, pretty graphics and good outreach campaigns. Well, we've done a lot of that work for you. So we have a lot of online resources. We've been very pleased to see some of our local government partners use those during this event. Brazoria County, Harris County, City of Houston, that are easily changed to mend to your community's needs, but are easily digestible graphics. We have an example here specific to dealing with tree and vegetative debris, which is obviously a big focus in Beryl. But we have a pretty broad range of things from videos, pictures, graphics, documents. We'd be happy to work with you to kind of figure out what your community specific needs are, but we love to see the work that's out there being used and put into to good play with the community. Other than that, we're here to help and be a resource and would welcome a conversation. Oh, and if you go to the next slide, please. Another example. This is one of the widely used graphics. I think this is a late edition. Just to give you an example of some general non-branded, but very pretty and very easily digested graphics that we've had put together that are usable by your communities. Next slide, please. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Justin. I appreciate that. Aaron, Livingston, Cheryl Murgo, they also put on a disaster debris workshop typically once or twice a year open to local governments who, ahead of hurricane season, who would like to get additional information and preparation ahead of those storms.
If I could just interject for 1 sec. Justin, for the folks on the call that may not have gone through some of this before, do you want to indicate why it's really important that they follow certain practices on debris collection and removal if they're going to expect any kind of reimbursement from FEMA, since that is an eligible assistance category right now?
Exactly. Like a lot of federal programs, there are fairly stringent requirements, and the record keeping can be daunting to someone who's not been through that process before. So it's very important to make sure you get the maximum reimbursement, to make sure that your costs are met to record early, often, and in as much detail as possible. And if there are people who have questions about that, we'd be happy to help them navigate or put them in touch with good resources for that. But it's better to know ahead of time what you're going to need than to try and find it on the back end.
Thank you so much for that, Justin. We're now going to move on. As I mentioned in the opening, H-GAC is also the area agency on aging for 12 counties in the region. Aaron Sturgeon, who's Assistant Director here over the aging program, is going to go over a little bit about what the aging department does to serve our most vulnerable in the region and what they're currently doing following Hurricane Beryl. Aaron?
Absolutely. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Like Rick said, my name's Aaron. My contact info is there on the screen. We've been focused really heavily this last week of just getting a lot of our direct services back up and running. So that's one of the things that we do is we serve seniors directly, and then we also have pass-through partners that we fund to provide other services such as nutrition and transportation, which has been the real big need that we're hearing coming back is food. So that's something that we do. We provide congregate and home-delivered meals, and we also provide transportation services. So this would be rides to the senior center to run errands, go to medical appointments, things like that. In addition to those needed services, we also do in-home services, respite care, in-home health, aids, delivery of medical supplies, medicines, as well as benefits counseling when they call in our Aging Disability Resource Center, caregiver workshops, health workshops, and operating our local ombudsman program. So going into assisted living facilities and advocating for the residents there. So as we've been in recovery mode, we have been focused a lot on getting those things back up and running. I was really impressed with our response and our ability to get the phones back up going really quickly and start returning calls and taking calls for folks that needed assistance in the region, and started making out referrals for things that maybe we don't have direct funding for, but we have partners in the community that we can refer out to. We've been collaborating with our friends in workforce on the other side of human services to build up referral lists, resource lists, as well as working with other partners in the community such as United Way, Habitat for Humanity, and others to understand what other resources are available or might be coming available soon. So that's something we're going to keep our finger on the pulse of, and hopefully have weekly updates in terms of what opportunities might be there. We haven't necessarily received additional funding specific to the disaster, but in terms of funding, we did get approved rollover funds from FY23, which were approved this week, and we're amending those contracts right now. So that'll be an additional $3 million that we're pumping into our services, as well as on Monday we got approval from HHSC to provide flexibility in that funding to be able to do more grab-and-go meals and what we call shelf-stable meals, right? So people can come to the centers for a meal, and we can send them home with 5 more meals, for example, to address the food shortage they might be experiencing. As time goes on, we know that there's going to be more needs in terms of home repairs, which is something that we offer, weatherization and things like that. So we'll be looking for how we can use our resources, but other resources that are also available as people recover from their home damage that we know they're experiencing. But I am happy to report that all of our funded partners out there have gotten some level of their operation back up and going. We're checking in with them daily. Most have their power back at this point and have resumed normal operations. We've had a few, nutrition sites where there might have been damage to the building or water gone out, but they're getting those things patched up. They're getting back up and going, and they're able to provide food. And they're also making a concerted effort to check in with all the seniors on the roster to make sure that they are okay, that if there are any needs, that they're getting connected, and just doing wellness checks on them too. So we'll continue that effort as well.
Excellent. Thank you, Aaron. As we all know, our senior community is incredibly important and the most vulnerable. In addition to serving them throughout the year with home-delivered meals, congregate meals, transportation, retrofit for homes, transportation to appointments, We also, ahead of every hurricane season, do a campaign called Together Against the Weather, which really reinforces the idea that we have to watch out for our neighbors. There are checklists involved for those that haven't been through an event like this in the past, and we do a lot of that work up front as well. Those resources are also available to all of you on the call. So if you're interested in that, please reach out to Aaron or to Miguel Segura, and he's happy to help with those resources so that you all can spread the word in your community about the importance of being ready for this type of event. And it helps save lives and prevent injury. Aaron?
Yeah, Rick, sorry, one more thing I wanted to mention. We're also in the middle of our cool down initiative where we're using a lot of our funding to purchase window units to just keep homes cool for our seniors. So if that's a need, we know that that they can connect through us through the 800 number there on the screen, and we want to provide that as well.
Thank you for that, Aaron. I appreciate that. And finally, our workforce, for those of you that don't know on the call, the Houston-Galveston Area Council administers all 28 career office locations throughout our 13 counties, known as Workforce Solutions. That is one of our our largest program here at the Houston-Galveston Area Council. It includes child care and employment services as well. Those are two things that are very much impacted in a storm like this when folks are trying to get their children to reliable child care to be able to get back to work. But those offices also open up and they serve as fantastic resources for the community, so we hope that you'll lean into those. Kevin's going to have a little more information to provide you on what those career office locations are doing currently. Kevin?
Good afternoon and welcome, and thank you, Rick. I'm Kevin Rodney. I'm a manager here at H-GAC supporting our Workforce Solutions Network. As Rick stated, we have 28 career offices throughout the region, and during any type of disaster, sometimes our offices are used as a lifeline for some of our customers because we have internet access and different resources available for them to utilize, and so we really try to get those offices and our operations open as quickly as possible after a storm has passed. And I can say on Tuesday, following the storm, we had 10 of our offices that were open in some capacity with a skeleton crew there and able to work with and help customers throughout the region. Currently, 25 of our 28 offices are operating as normal. We still have 3 offices. Our Acres Home, Clear Lake, and Missouri City offices are still closed, and we certainly hope that those get open as quickly as possible. And we're hoping by at least Monday of next week we'll be able to return to full operations. Our offices, we have computers and phones and different things available for our customers because one of the most important things following disaster, especially for those that have lost their jobs due to disaster, is that disaster unemployment. And you can go to the next slide, but disaster unemployment. And so we have staff available who can help those individuals apply for relief, apply for funding, and we just work with them from that perspective. We do expect some funding from the Texas Workforce Commission as a result of the storm, and some of that funding will be used to support some training and also some disaster relief recovery jobs. And so we'll definitely be reaching out to the communities, trying to identify the need and figure out, what you all are needing and try to support you in any way possible in providing temporary employers or employees to help with the cleanup. Additionally, FEMA is still doing surveys in some of our region, and just give me a second. Yeah, next slide. Yeah, they're still doing damage surveys. 9 of our counties have already met the threshold for FEMA, and so they're still identifying in Fort Bend. They're still identifying in certain areas, places where it's Austin, Colorado, Fort Bend, and Waller. We still need more information for the region to qualify for assistance. Lastly, from the spring storms, there are still some opportunities for individuals to apply for assistance from the spring Derecho flooding event. And if you can go to the next slide. And eligible applicants can go online and apply. It applies to certain counties. It doesn't apply to our entire region. There's just those counties that were affected by the spring storms. And again, you can utilize our career offices to apply and speak with our staff to help you if your residents need any type of assistance. I also want to state that in our career offices, one of the primary things that we can help with is finding employment. And so if you have any residents that have lost work or are looking for employment, you can refer them to any one of those 28 career offices that we have. And we'd be more than happy to assist those individuals with getting back into the workforce.
Thanks, Kevin. Anyone who may not have internet access perhaps restored, can they also go in a career office location to apply for assistance or anything like that?
Yes. Offices to go out to go in and apply for assistance. So yes.
Excellent. Great. Thank you very much. So we appreciate all of the panel that we have assembled here. We're going to go to any questions that we may have online, or anyone who would like to share either the experience, what went well in your jurisdiction, or perhaps anything that you may still need assistance with that we should be looking at. We'd love to hear from you. This is the most important part of this session. So is there anyone from Austin County, perhaps? Maybe we could do this by county. Anyone from Austin County or any of the cities in Austin County, City of Sealy, Belleville, that would like to chat? Anyone who's got a burning question can also just hit the raise hand function on their Zoom. Or any comments?
We do have a question in the chat.
Thank you, Laura.
You're welcome. How quickly may a resident expect help with their medications? Mail service was interrupted here.
Can you repeat that question, Laura?
How quickly may a resident expect help with their medications? Mail service was interrupted here.
Okay. It's going to depend on the provider. I might need a little more information to fully answer that. But ideally, once the call comes in, they should go through a service authorization process. As I understand it, as of today, most of the meal delivery should be back up and running. But if I get more details, I could look into it to make sure there's not a disruption. Which specific county was that? Did they say?
Astoria County.
Astoria County.
I'll look into it.
We'll look into that. Thank you, Laura. Any other questions in the chat? Not at this time. Anyone else online? Okay.
Before I turn it over to Rick just for some closing remarks, I did just want to mention a couple things I didn't forget earlier.
I do have a question as you finish this.
No, please go ahead.
Okay. So here in Matagorda County, Sargent was our most affected community. It is an unincorporated area. And while you've talked through some great opportunities for those recovering, and while I appreciate most of this, the application, the reporting process is done online. and that, the workforce solution offices have opened their offices to assist with this. Sargent is 32 miles from our closest workforce solution office. And with the significant damage that they experienced there, there's going to be some time before you have fiber restored. And quite frankly, there is no computers down there for them to offer to input their information. Is there anything or any efforts you're aware of that can assist with this challenge?
I'll take it. You want me to start, Kevin? Then we'll go from there. So, Michael, good to hear from you. Definitely can understand community, long distance from the available resources located at the workforce office, no way to get their information or even probably make it out of the community in some cases, at least in a way that that could be convenient to them. So I'd ask the team to look into possibly a remote visit to go out. Probably could maybe work with you or someone else down there to help get the word out, and perhaps come out on a certain day or a couple of days with whatever we can do. If it's paper forms that we need for this first part, or if it's a Wi-Fi hotspot, whatever it might be, we'll need to think about how we can make that happen. But we can definitely work to meet this need by
Fantastic.
figure out a way to get our team out into that location to be helpful. Not exactly sure what that format's going to be right now. Not sure if it's going to be paper or laptops with hotspots or what it might be. But we'll make sure that we're in touch with you so we can help figure that out. I know Kevin and his team can be very innovative and responsive, and I'm sure we can help make that happen.
Yeah,
Thank
Chuck,
you so very much. So I do have a secondary question, and that is, in this same area, you've still got a significant amount of debris, non-vegetative, that is on private property. Any assistance that can be identified to help, and keep in mind, Sargent has a lot of retirees in it. I mean, that folks move down there to retire, fish, and be near water, right? So if there are any resources available to help with non-vegetative debris on private land, that would be very helpful for us.
Michael, appreciate that one, Jim. I'm going to kick it back to Kevin in just a minute. He had a follow-up, I think, on that first time. On the second
Great.
one, we've been thinking about this debris situation. I know Justin and I have been in communication almost immediately after the storm on the private property issue, private debris on private property, not public debris that got washed onto it, but the private matters. That one, we have not found a resource yet that deems that to be eligible, but we are searching for that. From what we can tell so far, where there has been assistance, it's been debris getting moved to a curb in the local government jurisdiction,
Right.
picking it up, which I know may not be helpful as an answer, but that's kind of what we've seen so far. We have yet to see any federal or state source that we're aware of. We'll keep looking that will help meet that need. So that's going to be a hard situation.
Have you heard of anything coming through the VOADs?
I have not.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm sorry I interrupted the response.
No, this is good. This is exactly why we want to have this meeting, is to hear from all of you. Kevin, you want to do a quick follow-up for Michael's question on the workforce?
Yes, thank you. We definitely can put together a mobile team to go out. I would ask if we can just identify a site in Sargent or somewhere near that where our team can go. We have, set up and serve the public.
That we can do. Absolutely.
Any
Look
other
forward to
questions? Thank you, Michael, and that's exactly the type of feedback that we want from this forum, and we want to provide a platform and a space for you all to share some of your needs and identify some potential mutual aid opportunities. And as some communities are able to bounce back and recover faster than others, we want to make sure that we're understanding of what our neighbors need, be able to share some of those resources, and obviously for us to learn what we can impact and assist with directly as Houston-Galveston Area Council. One of the other things that I did forget to mention, our data analytics team is also working and leveraging our partnerships to ensure that we provide you with as much valuable information as we can. Right now, they are in the process of gathering some aerial data imagery, particularly around damage data, so we're able to use as funding does come available to help our jurisdictions provide a stronger case and get a better pulse of exactly what the damage was in each one of those regions. So again, a couple of these slides were dense. They did have a lot of verbiage. Some of the graphics are small. We did that because immediately after this meeting, we're going to be sending these slides out just for you all to be able to take a look at. They are hyperlinked to the resources that were made available, and we wanted to do that sooner than later because some of this, as you know, is very time sensitive. I know, and I apologize, Ronnie already mentioned this, but I know particularly around the SBA resources, they do have a forum as well online. I believe it's tomorrow around noon. That flyer that's on there has all the details and it has a link where you can register. But again, as we send this out, as you all see any more resources come online, as you experience any more needs, please get back to us so we could get that live on our website, so we could get that to our program representatives and make sure that we follow up with you all to assist in a timely manner. But with that, I'll turn it over to Rick.
Yeah, thank you, Miguel. One last thing I did want to mention is if you would like us to come out, or any of these speakers to come out to your local government, to your next commissioners court meeting or your next city council meeting, please let us know. Please reach out to us, give us a call. We have a request form also on our website that you can fill out. Let us know what you'd like us to come and talk about. We can talk about these resources or any of H-GAC's programs. Please lean on us during this difficult time. We wish you all the very best.
Rick, I think we do have a question in the queue.
We do have a question. We have another
And
question.
perhaps before we go to that, if we could also think of folks on the call, we put a lot of information towards them today. If they have follow-ups, who would be the best point of contact?
Excellent.
On that? But we can do the question and then talk about point of contact if folks have things that come to mind once this is done.
Any resources to replace perishable food items, whether food items such as milk, orange juice, eggs, butter, cheese, lunch meat, or money? And this is Brazoria County again.
Which county?
Is there any resources to replace perishable food items, whether the food itself or monetarily wise? And this is Brazoria County.
I'm not sure if that's part of the FEMA individual assistance eligible activity or not. I think Justin's looking right now on that. Justin, do you have anything for us?
There we go. Yes, that is potentially part of the individual assistance. There's nuance there. But yeah, there are limitations, but that would be something we could talk with someone about.
So wherever the FEMA intake is happening in their community, that'd be the place to go file for that.
Absolutely.
And we do have one more question. Will the meeting recording be available for download?
Yes. Excellent. So we are planning on having these on a weekly basis and on an as-needed basis as well, and perhaps in future ones, bring in any federal or state resources or speakers that may have updated information that may be of value to you. So please continue to monitor and look out for notices about this. We will continue to have them virtual to make it convenient for you all. We recognize all of you are still in the recovery phase. We're here to help you. Lean on us. If you need us to come out and do a presentation on any of these programs, please let us know. We're happy to do that. I am happy to be your point of contact, or Miguel Segura here as well can also be your point of contact. You have contact information for all the speakers specific to the H-GAC by Cooperative, our disaster debris removal assistance, any elder abuse, and we also have area agency on aging programs and our workforce programs. So all this contact information will be emailed out to you momentarily, and we really appreciate you taking the time to be with us here today. Unless there are any other questions, I'll give it one more second. Thank you all and have a great day.
Thank you so much. Appreciate the help.
Thanks, Mike.